the Smash Writing, where we are going to be doing the painfully long-awaited review of the Bob's Burgers movies. This has been on my top 10 anticipated movies of the year list going into 2020. This has been the thumbnail for that video 3 times. I've been waiting a long time for this movie. Paul has been very annoyed by impatiently waiting. I threatened to burn down his house last time. So that's a relief for him that his house will be untorched. So let's just jump right into it. This will be a short review. You don't need to hear me gushing over this movie, which will be happening a lot. There will be some spoilers throughout. So if you haven't checked it out yet and you want to check it out, you should check it out. Skip this, go watch it, come back later. Alright, going into talking about what this movie's about. This movie kicks off with 6 years in the past at the Wonder Warfare was an attack between, as a fight between 2 of the Carneys. One of them ends up getting shot. We don't see it. And then we jump back to today with Bob working on a special burger, because he needs to get an extension on the bank loan. And then the kids go off to school and each of them get an arc running through the movie. Tina's nervous about giving a necklace with her beret on it to Jimmy to become summer boyfriend-girlfriend. Gene is worried about his sound not being appreciated, and he's scared it won't be, and he's trying to put the itty bitty ditty committee back together, the band, and he's worried that this isn't going to work. And then you got Louise, who's a bigger one, where she's starting to feel like she's not growing up and she's still being a baby, especially when it comes to her hat, because she's misremembering events in the past. So they get declined for the bank loan, or the extension, and back at the restaurant, Linda's trying to cheer him up, and just when she's about to, the sidewalk that has been crumbling throughout the series of the last season caves in completely into a sinkhole, and the water main ruptures, which they try to stay open for, but the giant hole isn't letting any customers in. And while Bob is freaking out over it, Louise sees her opportunity to try to shed herself of the baby image by going into the sinkhole, and before she can back out completely, she falls in, and when she's trying to climb out, a skeleton falls out on top of her. And that just means that the sinkhole Bob needed covered is now not getting covered, because it's now an active crime scene. And the police investigate, and they determine that Calvin is the murderer. And this is especially bad for Bob, because on top of the bank extension he needs and not getting, he needs an extension on the rent. And Calvin gets arrested before telling him he can have the month off from paying the rent. So Louise, hearing how much trouble they're in, gets Tina and Jean, and with a tooth that fell in her mouth from the skeleton, she goes out to prove that Calvin is not the murderer, because in her mind, if he did kill this person and buried him in the sinkhole, he would have been more panicked about the hole being open, and since he wasn't, she deduces that he could not have been the killer. And that's where the movie goes. That's where I'll stop talking about it for now. I really love this movie. It had a lot of great laughs. I like the animation style they used in it. The art and the drawings and the look of it was great. I love the Bob's Burgers world, where this is a family that stays together, and it did that throughout this movie, where even when they're in peril, they take a moment to help Louise through her problems with how she's looking at herself, and they correct her misunderstanding on the hat, and that's when you get a big moment. And Bob's, I'm not going to say what it is here, but they get a really big moment that ties Louise's hat with Bob's past and the importance of it, and that Louise isn't remembering her past right. And that's something that would happen to a kid. They're misremembering events from when they were going into preschool to where they are now. This was a lot of fun. I like the story. Like I said, it's very grounded in its realism, with, despite the fact that you got these kids running around searching for a murder. All the problems the kids are having and Bob is having are all like real problems. Like you got Tina being teenage angst, and Louise growing up and trying to separate who she was versus who she wants to be now. And you get a moment where her hat falls off. I'll say that her hat does fall off in this movie, You don't see anything because the camera never looks at her until she picks it up and puts the hat back on, which I thought was a little funny. That was good because I actually thought they did really tease that you would see her without her hat in this movie, and the fact they didn't was a great touch. Save it. It's a big moment. You already had a big moment here. You don't have to show every big moment in this movie. And it's a lot of fun. I have no problems with this movie. Final grade A, short video today. Bye-bye!